Welcome to day number 12, where I have quit my 9 to 5 job. Bye bye. And we are now full time YouTuber. Although, the more I tell people about it, what's going on here? The more I tell people about it, the more I think that maybe I'm more of like a digital entrepreneur, but whatever. Basically, a YouTuber. So, let's see what we're working with. AI look, we're currently on about 31.1 thousand subscribers, which is nice. And then on our YouTuber systems and other things like that, we are still at basically zero because we haven't really moved anywhere. So last time when I spoke to you, which was almost a week ago, which you do stuff. Excuse me. It's like a what do they call it? Partner, accountability buddy. I am my own accountability buddy. So anyway, we have here all this stuff. Now I started getting like way too into how to turn these into NEN when I don't really use it. I went away, man, and I've been trying. Let me show you. I've been trying to do some NEN. Let me pop it over here. There we go. But honestly, man, I can't get this bit to work, and it's driving me crazy. And so I keep seeing people who are like using Claude Code. So I've been having a proper wobble, been like, oh my gosh, maybe I should make a better backend which aligns more with the AI look, and it's more about like, how to use AI generally. But then, I've been arguing with Claude. Claude's the best, see, for chatting to get some ideas. Because when you talk to like ChatGPT and stuff, they kind of reinforce what you're saying. Whereas I always get them to do a analysis. Let me see if he says it. Yeah, Hormozy. I'm like, be Alex Hormozy. Tell me what's wrong. And so yeah, because I was seeing like the standard people online who all have school communities, and I thought maybe I could do that. It's much easier sell to like just make the video and somehow plug it into the back end. But really, what happens is you then become this thing where like you're making a video with no avatar in mind, so there's no person you're thinking of. You're just making a video. Then you're turning that video into something that you can then sell, say on school. And the problem here now is like, why would anyone buy this when there's no clear value proposition? It's completely backwards. What should really happen is if you're going to have a business back end, even if you make the YouTube video first, the channel first, it still has to flow in this order of like, in the back end, we have some value, right? And this value gets exchanged for money, and this video drives people to here specifically. So this is like hints, or sales, and then it moves you into here. Whereas in this top one, it's more like I make a video, and then how can that video translate into something here? Which is a completely different way of thinking about it. So anyway, I've had a few wobbles, and I've been arguing with Claude, and I've found the problem really is that I'm trying to make NEN solutions that I don't currently use or have for V1, which isn't what we want to do. So on YouTuber systems, our main thing is document the current stuff we're doing. So like, how do I currently find video ideas? How do I turn them into stuff? Blah, blah, blah. Because the process that I currently do, right, has become my full-time job now. For example, now, current stats-wise, what would it be in USD? Let me work it out over here. So I work in British pounds. So this month, so far, we've closed over $5,000, which is great considering the date. What date have we got? 23rd of January. So we still have a week, and based on this, divide that by 3, add that on again. We're probably going to land somewhere in about like conservatively $7,000 maybe, which is mental. In British pounds, it's about 4,300, which is still amazing. For context, the minimum wage in the UK is like 26 a year, so it's doing all right. Anyway, so that counts as agreed. It counts signed as well. So the percentage is normally something like 2/3 will be agreed and 1/3 will be signed at any given time. But that's because I haven't really enforced signing. That's kind of a new thing for us. I've found so far with sponsors that they're normally fine. They normally, or how do I say it without jinxing myself? basically, this has been fine so far. There haven't been any real hiccups. And as for like our goal, so I was trying to think as like, if we were to do, for example, like $100,000, right? That would be 273. So if you're to make $100,000 a year, that's going to become $273 every single day. And if the average like sponsored video, for example, is somewhere in this region, you could make $100,000 if you can land and produce a video, not the same one, but just like in works amount of stuff. If you could, do the whole process, land, script, draft and publish. If you could do that in a day, which is well doable, especially with the systems that I'm now developing, or well, that I'm formalizing, because they're all in here. I need to get them out here. Is that to do that every single day, you're winning. And I mean, to do this, it could realistically, on a bad video, like a video that's really hard, that could be, if you had a few errors, if I had to do 2 drafts, had a bit back and forth, it's max, like, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 hours, like absolutely max. But at minimum, it could be 2 to 3 hours. So suddenly it's like, if you were to do a 12-hour day and you had unlimited people coming and trying to get stuff, and you'll do a 12-hour day, you could theoretically make like 4x this, which is like 1,000. So you can see how it easily adds up. Anyway, so that's our kind of golden number, is this 273. I'm working it in pounds just because that's my native currency. GBP, Great British Pounds, which is like $350 or $370, something like that. But yeah, so we'll not try to fill this with sponsored videos per se. That's why I want to make a YouTuber systems where I feel I'm delivering like solid value. Because my whole life, all I've wanted to do is be a YouTuber, zillion graveyard channels. So teaching people how I've been able to do this, so that they can kind of plug in their niche, their ideas, and to get people to break free into being their own boss in this way, I think would be, it'd be amazing. So, YouTuber systems, what are we doing with this here now? We've been arguing back and forth, and we now have an idea, which is for V1, not an idea, we're going to do this now. For V1, I've just been talking to ChatGPT. They're the best for getting your transcript, but then I copy that into Claude. So another tool idea, make one that does that. I have a bunch of tool ideas, but it's just going to, like that thing Steve Jobs saying to the guy, who's the guy that went to OpenAI, whatever that guy's name is, and he's like, tell me, what have you declined to do today? Because that's evidence of focus. So V1, we have our manual. So exactly what I do as I do it, that's what we're going to do. Then V2, we're going to have some simple automation, and then we'll just keep going from there. So the idea is you come in here, you get the process, the entire, because manual sounds bad, but it's the entire system of literally how do you go from like emails and ideas to landing clients, landing sponsors, and publishing the videos. So it's the entire thing. And honestly, you get overwhelmed so easily at this kind of stuff. Like, see, trying to hold the entire process down. Because we'll have a quick look just to show you. They've been arguing that I should, use more money, ask for more money from it. So this is the example here. Manual baseline, email, blah, blah, blah. And just keep bumping it up every time. Possibly. Because, and I'll get into that in a minute, actually. Let me find the... Where is it? Here it's here. Right, so, yeah, manual foundation, idea engine, first production, script system, demo system, package, blah, blah, blah. So, just trying to turn everything you do into some document is much harder than you think. So anyway, in regards to price, the whole thing is this, right? Last year, I closed, let me see, closed just being agreed and signed. So in Q1, so let's see, so January, February, I didn't make much till. So January, we made like, a few hundred, so let's say like 300. February, like 350. And suddenly in March, we go up to like, whatever that is, like 2,500, and then it's just kind of gone like this, or well, more like this, something like that. Because I've had, I had a baby, and then I had my final project at work, which was, took loads of time. But anyway, the point is that last year, if I was to average out from March, we made agreed, so total signed and agreed comes to, oh, hey, that's good. Let me see. We made about $40,000. So $40,000 just on YouTube across March to December. So 10 months. Oops, come over here. In 10 months. So approximately $4,000 a month. So the idea here is, listen, if I'm going to systematize how I done this, because I done this just in my brain, just doing stuff. Nothing was really written down. It's all in here. Now, if I'm going to then turn that into something you can follow, some sort of system, that is the system where, if you have like the system here, right? This is the system. And you have, your niche, your hard work, your dedication to what you're doing, goes into this system. For me, for what I done here, my output was $4,000 a month, and then and it looks to be going up. Obviously now full time, and this was me working only on weekends and evenings, so like after everyone's gone to sleep, and I was able to do that. So the idea is this system here is worth, given the right conditions, so the right niche, the right hard work, etc., is worth $4,000 a month, just like this whole system. So now we need to split what's the system worth versus what's the niche worth. So this system, if I'm going to systematize it, it's going to be even more efficient. It'll become like, it's more of to get you in the door. It's like, listen, I was able to quit my 9 to 5 doing this. And I was able to make $4,000 a month. But the actual sale isn't this $4,000 a month, because the problem then becomes unrealistic expectations. The next thing is like, now you're considering buying, you're like, hey, that sounds really good. Then it's like, right, let's have something concrete here. So what kind of concrete stats can we have? It'd be things like, normally I spend 12 hours a month on emails. Now I spend, 2 hours a week on emails. Now I spend 2 because the other 10 is now all automated away, right? Something like this. And then you can start to then concretely say, listen, this system in total is saving you like 50 hours a week, and it could literally be that much, especially depending on how much you're going to actually implement the entire system. And that's not to mention the fact that it is a system as well, so you're getting the entire playbook basically. So you're getting the playbook that made me $4,000 a month, and now this month, for example, is going to make me possibly $7-8 grand a month. So you're going to get that plus save this. So it's kind of more like, this is the sell, this is the actual value, for real value, and then this here is like the kind of I don't know what the word would be, but the exterior value, or I don't know. This is kind of like the chocolate, and this is like the packaging, something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at now with things, as we have this idea kind of fleshed out a bit more. Yeah, so I just had to reevaluate myself as a YouTuber instead of just as an AI guy. So the next steps are, we're going to do V1 now. I have been so busy with sponsored videos, to be fair. I'd like to streamline that process, but because I'm not in it constantly, it's not what I do as soon as I sit down, because that was the thing, making $4,000 a month in the evenings and weekends, it would just be I just sit down and make a video, and I'm just going to make a loom, just like this, boom, sorted. Whereas now, it's a little bit more back and forth with sponsors, and the videos, I need to record the face cam separately and edit them together, which is a bit harder, I'm finding. because it takes up a bit more time, and because I'm not like in the game to go and do it, I need to kind of systematize it so that I know what to do. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to work on V1. We're going to do all the manual stuff. I've spoken it all out loud, which is what I heavily advise. Open your phone and just dictate into it. But you know what I mean, like just voice record yourself, and like, or go on ChatGPT. That can be good for it. Little hint, you know, go on ChatGPT. What is it? Voice mode. What's the whatever the logo is, and just say, you know, give this back to me as a process document, for example. And then you can do your blah, 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 do your talking. It won't transcribe it if it's too long. It will then come back and say, done. And you'll be like, where is it? Just end the chat and then ask for the process of it. Because ChatGPT has access to all of this. You just don't. So you can then get it back out. Or you can just dictate somewhere else. But I find ChatGPT has the best for my accent, at least. So anyway, so yeah, talking into there, figuring out what is the actual manual process, because I hate having to sit down and type it. It takes ages. I would rather just talk and let it synthesize it, and then I can scan it, because you know, talking and reading is much faster than typing. So yeah, we're going to flesh out this V1, which is essentially the manual way to do it. I say manual, but it's like how to manually use AI. So I mean, it's still like, compared to, for example, it'd be like how to use Gemini or Nano Banana to make thumbnails. It's manual-ish, but it's not exactly Photoshop, you know. So anyway, that's what we're going to focus on today. Oh yeah, in regarding to pricing, which is the whole point of what I was saying here. I've completely lost track, because I should start coming with bullet points to these meetings with myself. But basically, it's just, if I'm going to say this system can make me $4,000 a month, then how can I sell it at, like, you know, $19? Like, for $19 a month, you can get access to my playbook that made me, you know, $4,000. It just seems, the value mismatch just seems mental. And sure, you can argue, oh, but it's, you know, in this instance, it's your niche, or it's your hard work, or whatever. But I mean, in any case, it can make this. So how can you possibly say that the system is only worth the 19? It becomes a point where it's not even a bargain. It's just like, what's wrong with it? What? Why? Even like $19 a month, and it's like, this will save you legitimately 20 hours a week. It's like, that's less than $1 an hour. It's mental. So my little Claude Hormozy is recommending we do something like 97 a month, which seems to make more sense to me. The only problem is I'm now thinking along the lines of, right, if I'm making YouTube or systems, am I kind of in this world of like vidIQ and Think Media? And if I'm in this vidIQ and Think Media world, what should my product actually be, and how much should it be? Let's actually just have a quick look, I suppose. So we'll go vidIQ, because it will have the pricing. There we go, compare plans and pricing. I think vidIQ, let me see, your personal YouTube mentor's $200 a month, or 3, and their boost plan is either $17 or £19. So £19 versus, we'll just say 200. So just go for the low price. So we'll say 17 and 200, 17 a month. This is like no access to anyone. 200 a month has a one-to-one coach. So I suppose in this instance, I would lean more towards this 200 a month. The only thing is that really, I guess here, it's how much of this would the value be seen in me for this equating price. But then I'm sure Alex Hormozy, when I've done stuff before, advises completely against this idea of, you know, price matching and trying to figure out the difference. It's like, figure out what you're actually worth and then change that. So like, this year's like $4,000 a month. If you were to then do, you know, take a 10% cut, that's 400 a month. If you were to do a 5% cut, that's obviously then 200 a month for 5%. You know, 1% cut would still be $40. So you start thinking about it from this perspective, it becomes like, even 200 is kind of a steal, especially if you do like a 30-day guarantee. So I'd say, yeah, I think we're probably on the money to do something like maybe 2% cut, you know, to start with, like $79, and then quickly move it up, you know. A free AI tools, AI title generator. I always feel this stuff's just pure spam. Let's have a look and see. Tell us about your video. Top 5 AI tools. And let's see what it says. Because I wonder if it has like a chat back and forth. Nah, just doing stuff. Because this is what I don't like about it. It's using like these frameworks. Like unlock tomorrow. Top 5 AI tools you can't ignore. And it's like no one talks like this. This type of copywriting is so 2015, maybe earlier 2010. So that's, I think it's good to be able to converse with AI, and be like, what do you think? Go and check online what's the latest frameworks, And so the idea would be that instead of you having to chat back and forth to give it the frameworks, that the agent, for example, would go get the frameworks and have them there so that when you ask it, you can have a conversation about what your title should be instead of just having some of these, because you could just reply and say, oh, I don't like this, change that, what do you think of this, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is reinstantiated to me why I don't like vidIQ's tool that much, at least for this specific thing. But it reminds me of the reason I didn't use it in the first place. So, that's the video, long story short. Can I put myself? Oh, gutted. Thought I was going to be overlay myself. Oh, my back. There we go. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Let's hopefully we'll have a re1 sorted by then. Take care. Bye-bye.